a different way, right? So the secrets of wealth isn't just like giving your money to somebody else and letting them manage. The secrets to wealth is, and what we've talked about a bit. And let me know if you can hear me fine. I don't know if it's cutting
Mhm.
out a little bit
I can hear
on
you.
my end. I hear you. It's a little cutty, but on I can hear it's a little choppy on when I hear you, but
Okay.
I didn't know if it was both ways. So as I think about this, a lot of times people want to give up control to somebody else, and we have a video that we have, or a quest that is manage cash flow like a millionaire. What I heard you say is, man, these um, I got these things, this book, and I had the secrets and I put it on my shelf, is basically what you said. And I put it on my
Right.
shelf for a couple years. So here's the thing I'm wondering about is how many people are out there that again, we're saying wealth secrets. I know you guys are coming here for the secrets that have already been out there, but the secret is to actually listen and implement, and to what you just mentioned is take control. You actually took control of your head first before even the wealth of money,
Hmm.
uh, is what I heard, right?
Hmm.
And then from there you have to implement, and you learned, and you're like, okay, I need to understand the money game. And in that money game conversation with yourself, basically, you're saying, okay, I don't have any control over Tesla or whatever, what's his name's going to do, uh, next, but I do have control of the cash flow that I can create. Is that what I heard?
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. Yep.
So then after cash flow, so you had a mindset shift.
Hmm.
First, you had the book sitting on a shelf, and the mindset shift. Then you start developing this idea of cash flow.
Hmm.
What happens next for you?
So, and are you able to hear me, or am I still choppy?
Still a little choppy. I don't know if it's the headphones or not, but I don't know. It's fine.
Let me see. Let me see. Oh yeah, I am choppy. Okay. Am I able to leave and come right back?
Oh yeah, go for it. Go for
Okay,
it.
I'm gonna leave and come right back.
Yep.
How do I get out of here?
So while he's leaving and coming right back here, guys, we're doing these videos live. Um, uh, yeah, thinking about again, how do we uh, grow, develop, build those secrets into ours? It's not a secret,
Hmm.
really.
Hmm.
That's the funny thing.
Is that better?
Absolutely one.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, the secrets. That's why I think it was a conspiracy by the evil powers. They stopped the my audio. So
Oh, that's what it was. Well, now we have sound so much better. We might have to do a re-record at
okay,
another time.
okay.
And but again, here's the thing. Other thing I want to let you guys know. I know that you're coming in and out. You might have heard some choppiness and all of this, but here's the other thing. I think that a secret I want to give you that Carlos doesn't know is showing up, right? Just overcoming an obstacle of like sound quality or whatever, and
Yeah.
just doing things. Not, I don't like to use, I like, um, the Grant Cardone massive action, but massive appropriate action. And sometimes it's going to suck a little bit, but really the content is there. The things happen, and we just flow with it. And next time we'll do better, right? So,
Actually, there's something I'd like to add to that. So, the secret of showing up, I mean, essentially, it's really the 80-20 rule. There's this rule
yeah.
where if 100 people start something, 80 of those people are going to give up, and 20 of those people are going to do well or
Uh,
keep going. and it's that simple, right? And it's just math at this point. Some people, everybody doesn't make it. Everybody does. It doesn't achieve wealth. Everybody doesn't achieve success. And the only way to ensure that you are going to achieve it is to not give up and show up. You have to show up.
Yeah.
You just have to continue showing up. And I'm often the dumbest person in the room, right? I try to hire
Yeah.
people around me, like, hey, look, hey, what am I doing? Am I doing this right? Yeah, okay. I'm still moving forward. And when I have a weakness, I make sure I bring others in for assistance. But just the fact that you're showing up and you're committed and you're keep going, that is, um, you're basically like a part of the 20%. 80% of people
Yeah.
give up.
Right.
So
That I look at that in the financial services. I think about that from a business ownership
mhm,
or even starting real estate, right? So sometimes there's going to be failures,
mhm,
and if you are trying to avoid failures, I like to just have controlled failures a little more. Volatility in the market that is not that isn't something I can control
mhm,
is a little annoying to me. But failures of failing forward is more important than um, failing because I didn't do anything. And then another thing, one of my friends, Perry Marshall, he wrote a book called 80/20 Sales and Marketing.
mm,
Amazing, amazing book. And that's what really helped me think about, like, 20%, the
mhm,
80/20 rule, or what they say now, 95/5, really,
mhm,
um, is showing up sometimes as a person of building wealth.
mhm,
Sometimes I'm in a disadvantage in that I didn't come from wealth, and all we have um, is our sweat equity.
mhm.
So let me ask you this. Um, I don't know. Did you have a rich relative when you started into this, or
All right. Now
did you come from wealth?
here's the big mask ripoff, guys. I'm secretly a hedge funds child's baby somewhere, right? I'm the guy. No, I'm a regular person, right?
Yep.
I had a job. You make money from your job and you buy real estate.
Yep.
It's like, well, how do you do that? You just have a good paying job. Like that's like half of the it's like half of the
Yep.
battle, just having enough money to can you still hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
Okay,
now I
okay.
can hear you perfect. So,
Okay, great. So that's half of the job, guys, is just understanding a solid plan on what you're supposed to do with your money, even if you're at your business. It doesn't matter whether you're at your business, it doesn't matter if you're at your job.
yeah,
You get the money and then you put it in real estate. That's it. And how do you put it? You go to the bank, you say, "Hey, I'd like to borrow some money." And
yeah,
they give you the money as long as you're going to pay your bills, right? And that's pretty much like it's so funny because there's like always mystery and this like mysticism behind like just doing well, and it's simply all the money that you're supposed to use on investing in yourself, just don't use it on the things that you really like, kind of want to do, like the vacations, the trips. Like you just don't do all of it right then. You do it a little bit
yeah,
later. And it doesn't even mean that you can't even take a trip or two, maybe a 3 or 4 a year, and then still have
yeah,
leftover money to do real estate because you don't even need that much, honestly. So,
yeah. And on top of that, I think it's like if you give dollars jobs, if you're managing cash flow like a millionaire, if you're using the profit first system. I'm not saying don't uh, go on vacations either,
mhm,
um, but like be smart about it, using the systems like infinite banking and those
absolutely.
kind of smart systems just to amplify your results. But here's the thing: you have to show up to work. And sometimes as you build, sometimes even starting your own business, I hear entrepreneurs or people who want to be entrepreneurs, they tell me, well, I want to do what you do because I want to have freedom to do what I want when I want. And I'm going to leave
Oh,
my job to
yeah.
have freedom to do what I want when I want. And I'm like, you, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You're
You're
like,
barking up
wait
the
a
wrong
second.
trade, buddy. That's the
Yeah.
wrong trade.
It takes you a while. I'm 5 years into my business, and it still takes some time to build. And, you don't just hire a operator
Mhm.
right out of the gate that's going to just you make all the money and they're just going to work for you. It just doesn't work that way yet, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Until you have built the financial equity to work on it. And that's something that I think is a secret is to wealth is be disciplined.
Yes, absolutely. There's a lot of people that are at six-figure jobs that do not have a personal assistant. We got to think,
Hmm.
why not? Why not? They're only a couple $100 a month. Get a personal assistant. You
Yeah.
know, um, for your executive assistant, maybe it's like $3,000 a month. But I mean, if you have the money, why not? You got a partner. You got somebody who's doing a lot of the labor for you, even at your job. So now you just kind of eliminate a lot of your tasks. So it doesn't even have to be starting a business. You can be
Yeah.
at a very okay paying job, maybe 100,000, 120. There's a lot of people making 150 and up. So it's like,
Yeah.
there's not really a, I'm not going to say an excuse, but there's not really like a reason you can't, you know, perform more because you just have other people in place.
Yeah.
It's just about the stability. That's like the most important thing is having enough income coming in to then provide that service to somebody else, right? Because you're going to be giving them a job. So
Yeah.
that's definitely a hack is hiring people to do everything. but
Well,
um,
and,
but yeah.
and it's using that profit first system. So I know my OPEX and how much it is, and I will hire efficiently as I go. But then as I want to grow, I can't do everything.
Hmm.
And so, but I also want to make sure I'm paying myself. So wealth is not just, hey, I want to like eventually pay myself,
Hmm.
and we don't actually start that interaction early, but using that system of profit first to then allocate the funds, right? And use it in a way, and sometimes it's deploying it to a node investing or things along those lines. So as you do real estate, what kind of real estate have you been really focused in on? Because real estate is big.
Yeah, yeah, it is
Uh,
big.
as people say, "Oh, I do real estate." Um, what I've learned is there's a lot of different kinds of real estate.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
There's commercial, single family, multifamily, commercial, right? Multifamily, commercial.
yeah,
There's there's obviously like, I guess I just said single family, but that's like residential.
yeah,
Um, but there's also something that people don't talk about, which is real estate notes. A lot of
yeah,
people do not talk about that. That is like that's my favorite thing. I didn't realize it was my favorite thing until um until I realized like how like effortless it was. All you had to do is just know enough. And this is for the people who are like, I guess maybe like a little nerdy like me, right? You want to get, like I always say there's two ways to make money. You can make money with these or you make money with this, right?
yep,
And when you're doing like the landlording, that's a skill. You have to be good with people. You got to be good at bringing people together and operating the business. Or if you
yeah,
want to be essentially a note person, which is basically a lender, you buy the house and you lend it out to someone at a high interest rate, right?
yeah,
Now, no, you make sure it's fair for both parties, but you want to get a return on your money. Um,
yep,
but essentially, what happens is they then take care of the house and they pay
yep,
you a monthly dividend for the
yep,
house. And I mean, it's a great way to build your retirement if you're at corporate America or if you're in a business and you
yeah,
do not want to really participate in a lot of the activities that happen within real estate. You own a property, you sell it for a monthly payment with interest. That interest then reoccurs over, basically however long you negotiate the mortgage, and you can pretty much set yourself up for a retirement with like 5 houses or so, as long as
yeah.
you do it right. So,
So what I heard you say is the one of the secrets to wealth is to be the bank.
oh yeah, you got to be the bank. Yeah.
Is what I heard you, and this is what I specialize in. If you notice, I have a Be the Bank book right there, and this is something that I love, and people again they don't talk about a lot, and where I'm positioning myself very much is using my life insurance policy. It just happens to be a storehouse that I can use as I use this system, and then I'm going to deploy it to notes. Personally, that's what we're going to be doing. What I've done most recently in wealth creation and a hack or secret is I happen to have a policy, right? And I am now used my policy to buy an office condo, right?
Mm,
And it's bought the condo, and I gave myself my first note is to me pretty much.
mhm.
My interest rates are not really high because I'm the also the tenant,
Right,
right?
right.
And so I'm paying myself.
Mhm,
My business is paying me rent to the condo, which is owned, and then just recycling the money, right?
mhm,
And that's a secret that I'm building, but it takes time to build, right?
mhm.
And that's just fun
Right.
to see of, oh, look at what's happening, and the amount of, I don't know,
And that
excitement.
sounded like a lot. It sounded like a lot, but it's like once you understand, it's like, you know.
No, it like I used my life insurance policies that I built a few years back.
Mhm,
I paid it back to myself, and because I bought a house that I live in,
mhm,
right? I have to have a place for that, and 20% down to that, and paid it back, and then I'm doing it again, and that's why we have that managed cash flow like a millionaire as a way of thinking through.
mhm,
So those are again secrets that the rich do: buy, borrow, die. That's the strategy they do.
mhm.
They For me, why I've told people I don't want to own any more real estate personally, because I'm not good with hammers.
Yeah, yeah.
um, that's just me.
Mhm.
Maybe not you, but um, yeah, those are some things I think about. So, what else? I know I'm gonna probably just so our listeners are aware, I'll probably cut out the first
Yeah.
part in the video, and then increase or have the rest here
Mhm.
because of our audio quality. But if
And
you're just tuning in, Carlos does a lot of amazing work. I met him through the real estate investor group here in Cincinnati, the RIA group, and um, and he's doing a lot. He's written some books, doing some marketing work, and you're going to be a force here in the future as you're building too. That I can just see it already because
oh,
you're
thank
showing
you.
up.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah, yeah, that's half of the battle is just being there. And if we can we can still go over those other topics if you want to. I don't mind. We can go over those other ones if you want to go over them again. So,
oh yeah. Well, where else do you want to go with this? Like as we're talking about secrets of wealth,
yeah.
I know we talked about cash flow,
Hmm.
understanding the cash flow, understanding the secrets of showing up,
Hmm.
um, is really like most of the time, and this is something I've thought about. Do you have an Excel sheet that you keep track of your money, or how do you? Um,
So yeah, so we I do have an Excel form. Yep, yep.
no,
And we basically just make the formulas to figure out, okay, where are we at, what's going on,
no.
just to make sure that we're still on track and doing what we were supposed to do. So
And I don't know. I'm not sure. Are you married, kids, anything like that?
I'm engaged right now. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep. Yep.
So this is something I just have thought about a little bit, is showing up in our own lives. A lot of times people are not showing up to their own financial conversations with themselves,
Yes.
right? And you can't expect people to show up for you if you're not even showing up for yourself. That's a secret that I think most people don't think about.
Hmm.
And these are asking, what do you want
Hmm.
in life, and asking your significant others and all of that. And if you're just not showing up, you're not physically present in your own life, you're sleepwalking, that's going to be a problem.
Hmm.
Anyway.
Just something to add to that. I think a lot of people don't really think about their retirement a lot of times.
Hmm.
Um, and that's because there's a lot of like there's propaganda, marketing, like whatever you want to call it, right? I mean, it's brainwashing. It's
Yeah.
like all kinds of terms for it. The idea is that they want you to do something else, and
Yep.
uh, to be a wealthy person and a rich person, you have to like kind of go against the grain of the system because the system is made to keep you spending money. That's how they say, oh, we're doing this this many transactions in our business, or the economy is doing great. Why? Because we're seeing all these people spend money, but
Yeah.
that means they don't have any money saved up for when they retire because they're all too busy spending it, right? And
Yep.
so it can seem as if the economy's booming. That means everybody's broke. Like,
Yep.
and to be a wealthy person, you can still have a good time. You just have to make sure you're just having that store value. And when you don't have like a house paid off when you're older, you're not, it's can get really like scary. This is when you start having the guys that's like 70, 80, 90 years old still working at Walmart, and
Yep.
that's not a knock against them, but that's like rough. You got to get up and like still go to work, and some people
Yeah.
think that social security might not be there. It might not be there. um, but something people need to know, is that you got to get started too while you're younger, so that way when you're older, you have an idea, you're gonna have like something there for yourself. At least have a free clear house, a couple of real estate notes, have that insurance policy, right? You're gonna need a bunch of stuff. You need a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff, right? And that's something that's really not talked about. I know it's like, a lot of bubble gum and candy out there, but it's like you do need
Yeah.
to be okay, like even just to retire. Like there's people right now, somebody, I was calling up some company, I was like, my gas bill was like a little bit higher than usual this month, right? And I'm still looking at the numbers like, okay,
Oh,
this
I
is
got
like,
that. I
you
got
know
that too.
yeah, exactly. Just like, oh, what's going on here? Looks like I paid an extra 100 or so, maybe. So this case, it was like extra $500 for gas, because there was like the whole gas shortage at the time. And I'm
Uh-huh.
like, okay, well, look, is this like an error? I was like, what's going on? She's like, oh, we need to charge people, yada yada. And I'm like, well, I have the money. Like, what about other people? If they're too busy
Yep.
spending it, what do
Yeah.
they have? They don't have it. And I'm like, oh, so what happens? They're like, oh, well, we have programs. I'm like, oh, okay. So the more debt, basically, more debt. They put you in debt as much as possible, and that is good when you're one person giving it, right? When I'm giving the mortgage, I love that, right? But when I'm the person borrowing the money, it's like when it's not for a cash flowing asset, then it's like it can become very scary. So,
Well, and that's something I do want to push back on. And I had a client just yesterday talking about, I need to pay off my house. I need to pay off my house. And I'd said, well, why are your interest rate is 2.8%, and you're aggressively paying off your mortgage on your house, extra $1,000 extra to that. Now I'm all for having a paid off house, but I like this idea. And one of my mentors said, "Is it better to have a paid off house or the ability to pay off your house at any time?"
there it
Right.
is. There it is. Yep.
And that's a different conversation, because I will say, okay, if I have a mortgage and it's 2%, it all is in the math.
Hmm.
Why am I going to pay off the house if it's 2% interest, and I can turn that extra $1,000 and loan it out to somebody else at 12% and get a cash flowing asset, even if I'm at retirement?
Hmm.
Well, then that's a positive, right?
Hmm. Absolutely.
I still have a debt technically,
Hmm.
but thinking about, sometimes we just go in to say, I need to pay this off or do this, and sometimes our logic doesn't line up. And I don't know, again, sometimes a paid off house is important, sometimes it's emotion, sometimes not. um,
Ha-
but
yeah,
that's a,
having yes. May I say something about that?
yeah, yeah,
So I agree with that 1000%. When you have a house and you have extra cash flow and you don't have any investments, you should start thinking about getting that money. But if you do
yep,
not plan to invest at all and let
yeah,
somebody else take control of your life and your retirement, like the stock market, the crazy stock market, you definitely want to pay off your house, because there's no telling what could happen.
yeah,
But
yeah. And that's the thing of that, the challenge of having somebody along with you
mhm,
to help you understand or think through it, because sometimes we're just following advice from the 80s that may not be accurate or right. And so we want to think about, hey, paid off, if your interest rate was 8%, yeah, pay off your house.
right,
uh,
exactly.
if your interest
Yeah.
is 2.1 or less, right, and
Mhm,
you got it during the great interest rate time,
mhm,
I don't know what we're doing. Yeah. But again, it all comes down to what you said. One of the big secrets is this cash
Yep.
flow.
Hmm.
Having more cash flow, and one of the wealth killers is gas is increasing, inflation, and $500 going away extra. That you're like, wait a sec, what? That's a wealth killer right there.
Absolutely.
Um, anyway, just thinking about it, I just did an episode on that just most recently. So I'm going to be ending it out here, but I wanted to share your um, information here. And let me just make sure I can add this. Share screen. And this is your website. Um, it is Let's Talk Terms in Real Estate. And you do all kinds of stuff here. You're not just talking about it, but you have a podcast. And what else? What else we got here?
We got some notes. We got a little bio there. We have the financial. I do have a financial education program that
Mm-hmm.
will be after that you can go to the mastermind
Oh, gotcha.
because it's going to be kind of hard to understand what's really going on. It's going to be kind of really
Sure.
hard to understand like what people are talking about, especially if you don't have the education.
Yep.
Um, and then finally, I have my marketing business, which is my IT business. So
Cool. Yeah. So you're doing all kinds of things, but what I've learned is you're showing up. I've seen you on LinkedIn. I've seen you in the real estate investor groups, and I'm sure people are reaching out to you, and that's the cool thing. So I'm going to put this here in the comments for you guys. And again, sorry for the technical difficulties here in the beginning, but really the information is amazing. I really want you guys to. This should not be secrets. This is just really, I don't know, should be common knowledge. The problem is we are just listening to CNN, MSNBC, following uh, the advice of people saying, well, yeah, invest in this stock or that and
mhm,
put it in your 401k without even thinking about it.
mhm,
And then wondering what happened. And again, if you don't have a plan for your money, someone else has a plan for your money. So be the master of your ship, guys. And any closing thoughts you want to leave them, Carlos?
yes, closing thoughts. It was just a pleasure speaking with Brandon earlier, as well as this time. He has a great system, great business. People need to learn how to use your own money, right? And when you're doing infinite banking or you're doing any of these other strategies, it's very important to work with a professional. Okay, it's so important because you need to know where you're going. And a lot of times, what we hear is face value information on the internet, and it's not where you think where you're going to end up. But some people learn the hard way, like the guy at McDonald's or the guy at the what is it, the Walmart. So you don't want to
Yeah.
be the guy at Walmart at 86. No offense to that guy if you're watching this, no offense, but you just don't want to end up like that. It's a nightmare. So yeah,
Yeah. Awesome, guys. Well, remember, find people who are one step ahead of you or two and learn from them. And the main thing I want to end with is by you guys just being here and listening to the episode, that you're showing up, right? And if we can be of service in any way, reach out. But again, one of those secrets is show up, listen, and think for yourself.
mhm,
So that's a huge secret. And don't just let the book sit on the shelf.
yeah,
Uh, right? Don't do that. Carlos, I'm speaking to you. A younger you.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure you, when they ask you a question of what would you tell younger you, you would probably say, pick up the stupid book.
right, exactly.
Um, that's probably what you would have said. So with that, keep being awesome, guys, and we will see you next time.